On June 15, 1944, First Lieutenant Frank Tachsky led a platoon ashore during the American invasion of Saipan. But these were not ordinary Marines. Behind Tachsky were 40 men, hand-picked from military brigs and punishment details, each chosen for their resilience, aggression, and unorthodox survival instincts. They were officially scout snipers, trained for deep reconnaissance, but in practice, they were something else, an elite, unconventional fighting force that came to be known as the 40 Thieves. Their origins lay in the aftermath of the Battle of Tarawa, where nearly 1,000 Marines were killed in just over 3 days. Recognizing the need for better intelligence, Colonel James Risley requested authorization to form a specialized unit capable of operating independently behind enemy lines. Lieutenant Tachsky was given the task of recruiting and training this team. His method was unconventional. He sought out those with disciplinary issues, men who had proven themselves in fights and had reputations for being troublemakers. In Tachsky's eyes, these were survivors. Over 2 months at Camp Tarawa in Hawaii, Tachsky built his platoon. The men were hardened individuals, many with criminal pasts, and ranged in age from 17 to 34. They trained relentlessly in skills not typically taught in the Marine Corps: stealth, silent killing, map reading, sabotage, and advanced marksmanship. They practiced ambush tactics, navigation through dense jungle, and how to operate independently without backup or support. Perhaps most crucially, they learned to steal. Given inadequate supplies, the Marines resorted to raiding Army and Navy depots for food, ammunition, and even vehicles. Their reputation spread quickly. The 40 Thieves was born. When they landed on Saipan, their mission was clear: push ahead of the main force, identify Japanese positions, and relay coordinates back to American artillery and naval fire. The Japanese were expected to defend the island fiercely. It was considered sovereign territory of Japan, not just an occupied possession. With over 30,000 enemy troops and heavily fortified terrain, the danger was immense. Their mission carried an expected casualty rate of over 70%. Within hours of landing, the 40 Thieves had already advanced hundreds of yards inland, further than any other Marine unit. They mapped enemy positions, identified machine gun nests and mortar pits, and coordinated devastating artillery strikes. Their information saved lives, allowing Marine units to avoid ambushes and neutralize threats before they became deadly. A pivotal moment came when the platoon discovered a massive Japanese tank battalion preparing to counterattack. With limited firepower and just 6 bazookas, Tachsky made the bold decision not to engage, but to shadow the force and relay its movements. Their updates allowed Marine units to reposition, ultimately foiling the Japanese plan to exploit a gap between 2 Marine divisions. One rogue tank nearly reached the regimental command post, but a single well-placed bazooka shot destroyed it, misleading the enemy and sparing Marine leadership from potential catastrophe. Their work came at great cost. As night fell and the Japanese retaliated, the platoon was forced to withdraw under fire. Several Marines were killed, some captured and executed, while others became separated in the chaos. Tachsky organized rescue operations the following day, risking further casualties to recover his men. In one instance, a group of trapped Marines was saved only after ambushing a Japanese patrol and escaping through a hidden fissure in a ravine, barely evading death. Over the next days, the platoon pushed further into enemy territory. Their objective: uncover hidden Japanese artillery positions camouflaged within cave systems on a high ridge. 2 Marines infiltrated the tunnels and discovered not only howitzers but interconnected bunkers, ammunition stores, and command centers. This intelligence was vital. It explained why prior artillery strikes had failed. Japanese forces were relocating guns between cave entrances before shells landed. The 40 Thieves mapped everything, preparing the way for eventual assaults by regular Marine units. Their next mission took them to Saipan, the island's administrative capital. Though in ruins from bombing, it was still being used as a Japanese staging ground. In a move that became legendary, 5 Marines disguised themselves by commandeering Japanese bicycles and riding through the city in broad daylight. Posing as enemy troops, they mapped enemy positions without detection, gathering intelligence that would prove crucial during the American assault on the town. Throughout the battle for Saipan, the 40 Thieves continued their high-risk operations. They ambushed patrols, stole supplies, rescued wounded comrades, and exposed heavily fortified enemy zones. Their actions consistently shaped the battlefield, allowing conventional Marine forces to operate with the benefit of superior intelligence. They endured immense hardship, malaria, dysentery, extreme exhaustion, and constant risk of discovery. By the time Saipan was declared secure on July 9th, the 40 Thieves had lost 12 men and had 9 wounded, suffering a 56% casualty rate. Despite this, they had completed every mission assigned. Their reconnaissance reduced Marine casualties by an estimated 15%, potentially saving 2,000 lives. Their work helped establish the viability of small elite units conducting deep penetration missions, precursors to modern special forces like the Navy SEALs and Marine Force Recon. But their story, like many in war, was forgotten. Lieutenant Frank Tachsky returned to civilian life, eventually serving as mayor of Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. He never spoke of his wartime service. It was only after his death in 2011 that his son discovered his footlocker and uncovered the history of the 40 Thieves. They were once considered criminals. But in the crucible of war, they proved to be among the most courageous and effective warriors of the Pacific Theater. Their legacy endures not only in military doctrine, but in the countless lives they saved through their sacrifice.